Hi guys, welcome to Creative Chess channel, and today our next lesson, which is devoted to the topic double pawns. Are they always bad, or there are some advantages? Let's have a look at the game which was played in 1970 between a very famous guy, Roman Djighashvili, you all know him, and Fabisovich. It was the championship of USSR. Djighashvili was playing white. Actually, he lost this game. That's why we are going to play for black today. So black has just played a6. It was white to move, and white decided to capture the knight here because they saw that after taking, black would have double pawns. We all try to avoid double pawns. In most cases, of course, it's bad, but in this there can be several advantages. Let's have a look at what they are. First of all, there are some advantages of double pawns. For example, even looking at this position, we may understand that here we have an open file now, and our rook can go to b8, for example, make some pressure on this file. Afterwards, after capturing on c6, we see that now black has a bishop pair, which can also be an advantage. And besides, this pawn controls the center, that is also good. So now black starts to fight for the center, so we will see how the game proceeded. So white played c4, and queen goes to e7, knight to c3, and you see here, as I told you, the rook goes to the b file, to the open file, trying to make some pressure on b2 pawn. It's very easy to protect this, that's why white played b3, and knight goes to c5. So black's idea is to move the knight on d4 square, of course after playing c5, and to be in the center, because this knight can be very annoying there. So white played h3 to prevent black from going to g4 and to prevent them from the pin. And you see black, so just making their plan. Knight goes to a4. From first glance, it may seem that it's quite a strange move, but in reality, so white can see that after c5, let us say, and knight goes here, you might just take, and there appear a pawn on d4, and white want to block the pawn with the knight. That's why, from first glance, it's a strange looking move, but so actually the knight just wants to stop the black pawn. Here c5 followed, bishop goes to a3. That was actual first not very nice move, because here, if we have a look at the position, black bishop is a bit out of play, maybe not even a bit, because you see it's looking into its pawns, and it's not that nice. I think for black it would have been good to play f5 sooner or later, try to open. Besides, we have white square bishop, this white can be put on c6, for example, and attack the white king. But instead of this, instead of leaving black with their bad bishop, playing like bishop to e3, for example, white is making a mistake, positional mistake, and played a3. I must say that in the 70s, Djighashvili was already a very good, talented young master, but actually maybe it wasn't his day. That's why he made a lot of positional mistakes here. So now bishop went to d7, attacking the knight, and knight goes to d4. White decided not to leave that knight on d4 square. They just exchanged the bishops. You see that now white want they this or not, they have to exchange the bishops. That is actually bad. It would have been better for them if the bishop was somewhere maybe even on d2, and to leave that with that bishop on board. So, but they have to exchange and play a knight to d3. So the idea was realized, it became true. So now the knight is blocking the d4 pawn, so from moving. Here c5 goes, and f4. ef. It seems that white's position is getting a bit better. Yeah, and in comparison what was going on, it's really so. And queen retreats to e7. Knight captures, and rook goes to e8. You see, black starts to make pressure on e5 pawn, and white has to protect it. And by the way, if we have a look at the position, this pawn is a weak pawn. It goes nowhere. Actually, sooner or later it may be captured. But this pawn is quite strong because it's protected by the c pawn, and sooner or later it can be promoted to the queen. So that's why white should be very careful here. So again, blocking, and meanwhile protecting the pawn, and bishop goes to f5. So we want to eliminate the knight and take the pawn. Rook goes to e1, f6. Of course, it's impossible to take the pawn because we will just take the queen. That's why white can't do this, but they played this move, and after a lot of exchanges which followed, they appeared such a position where black is definitely better because of the d4 pawn, and actually a more active position of black. Rook e3. So we have this open file. Now we have several threats. One is to threaten the king, for example, yes, to try to checkmate them. The second idea, of course, is to promote the pawn. And look at the white's rook. It's doing nothing. It's quite passive. The queen is passive, so white's position is worse. So rook goes to f1. And after checks, you see already black is attacking. It's going to checkmate. There are no checks for white because in this case we'll just capture their queen. So the only protection is to go with the rook, but now we can promote our pawn. White captures. Maybe they're going to make some perpetual here, trying to check the black king, but black are not in a hurry. So first they protect themselves from different checks, making an escape square for the king, and only after that they can put a rook on e3, and finally, after several preparations, play d2. In this position, Djukhashvili resigned. And as you see, if we return to the initial position here, we may see that actually it was white decision whether to capture the knight or not, and after a6 what to do. They took the knight because they knew that, of course, double pawn is more or less always bad for black, but in this case it turned out to be the advantage for black because they found the open file, the b file. They also had a bishop pair of strong bishops, and they started struggling immediately in the center. By the way, in this position also there was another plan which computer recommends and which wasn't played in the game, but actually if you have a look, just telling not right, maybe not to play this right now, but sooner or later, have a look if you play f5 and put your bishop somewhere on b7, as white don't have this white square bishop. It can be very, very dangerous to play such positions with f5 and opening these diagonals. So guys, I hope you like my videos. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in my next videos. Bye bye.